Right.
It's consistency.
Right. Then when we get in there, I'm like, wait a second, you had champagne the whole time.
So now people are really thinking I'm having a midlife crisis, and most people get caught between they're aware of the problem or they're unhappy and they want to make a change, and then they think about it.
If something happens to your kids, who has to take care of them for the rest of their life?
Yeah.
You do.
Exactly.
The government, no one's gonna come and say, oh, I'm so sorry, here's another more money. This person's gonna come and help you take care of them. No. Hey everyone, we're here with Amanda Jeppesen. Welcome back. I'm so excited. It's kind of crazy how we met, but I'm so excited to, have you on the show because I was so impressed by your business, and it was so weird how we ran into each other, but introduce yourself. Who is Amanda? Where do you come from? And what is your business?
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. This is incredible. And it is pretty wild how we met. I'll get to that piece too. But I have I have 2 studios, all based around health and wellness, beauty, skincare, and everything focuses around the lymphatic system because that's what detoxifies your whole body. But it didn't start that way. I started with just a lymphatic facial and then really grew. And it kind of came out of left field. So basically my background's in advertising and marketing.
Okay.
And I took 12 years off to raise my kids.
How many kids do you have?
3.
Okay. Like me.
Yeah. And my kids are almost 15, 17, and 27. I had my eldest when I was 19. But so I took that 12 years off work, but from age 37 to 40, it was dark for me. I was really, to be really honest, depressed. And it was a weird situation because I didn't have to go back to work. I had a great stay-at-home life, but I just was so fundamentally not fulfilled.
Yeah.
And my sister called me out on complaining one day and saying, like, when are you going to make a change? And I'm not a complainer. And it just hit so hard. So my best friend had moved to the UK and I was devastated. I went to go visit her, and that's the first time I had a buccal massage, which is inside your mouth.
Is that the one, the
Yes.
mini one that I had? Okay.
That's what locked you in.
Yeah.
And the lift was insane, just sculpted, glowing, but I felt really good. I didn't understand that piece at the time. After the treatment, I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is what I'm bringing to Canada. So I come back to Canada.
Is that where you're from?
Yeah,
Canada.
I'm from Canada.
Okay.
So I go back and forth between Toronto and LA right now. Got back and everyone thought I was having a midlife crisis. They're like, you don't have to go back to work. Why would you want to go back to work? But that 40 point, it's like approaching 40, it's like you're coming to the other side of your life and like, what are you going to do? And I really wanted it to be important. So I'd reached out to this woman on 4 different platforms to help me start this in Canada. I'm not an esthetician, or I wasn't an esthetician, had never owned a business, and she never got back to me. And I was so deflated. And I had an amazing relationship with my family doctor. And his exact words were, "Why the fuck don't you do it on your own?" And that was my other aha moment. And I was like, went home that day, researched. It became very clear that the facial sculpt lifting guru was out of Russia, and his next course was in 2 weeks. And I booked it in that moment. Not the most fun conversation to have with your family when they come home.
Right.
But I knew in that moment, if I didn't book it then, it would have been like, okay, great. But wait till the kids are done school, like wait till after the summer. It would never have happened. It would have been a fleeting.
It's never the right time. Just like it's never the right time to have kids. You just have them and then you figure it out later.
Yeah. It's that overthinking piece. If you overthink things, it's the paralysis analysis or analysis paralysis. You get stuck, and most people don't do it. And one of the biggest things I learned is the awareness, analysis, action. And most people get caught between they're aware of the problem or they're unhappy and they want to make a change, and then they think about it, and very few people move into action, but they go back and forth from awareness, analysis. So I went and I did this course, loved it. Part 2 was the emotional side of it. Didn't mean anything to me at the time. Come back, I met amazing people from all over the world in this course, and I knew that if I were to create this treatment, it had to be really special and really different and really work because it's such a saturated industry. So I tried treatments in all different countries to build this triple R facial.
Yeah, it's triple R.
Triple R. Yeah.
What are the R's?
Radical Radiance Regime, because it's completely different. You radiate from it inside and out.
Yeah.
And it's a regime, just like working out. You can't just do it once.
Right.
It's consistency.
Right.
Especially with the lymphatic system. So now people are really thinking I'm having a midlife crisis. I've gone to Germany, I've come back, and I'm opening this business. COVID is also looming. So this is
oh my God, that was so fun.
unreal. However, it turned into the best thing that happened to me. I met this guy along the way, Geronimo, who was my cheerleader, the one person who really believed in me and didn't think I was losing my mind.
Crazy.
And we would walk Yorkville, that's the area in Toronto that I opened in, and a place came for lease, and he's like, call right now.
Like right now.
Like right now.
Yeah.
So I called, and lo and behold, the landlord's like, I'll come meet you at the space. Showed us the space. A day later, I signed the lease. Against everybody saying, just wait, COVID is happening, it's coming. I'm like, it's never coming to Canada. Guess what? 2 days later, COVID has shut down Canada. And I now have a business where we put our hands inside your mouth during a global pandemic.
Right.
Not a good start. However, it was the best thing for me. And because everyone thought I was going to fail, often I would drive into the city and go to work. And one day I saw a movie being filmed. And I was like, you can't go to restaurants. All sports have been canceled. You can't fly. You're not even supposed to leave your house. And Canada was really tough with the restrictions. The entertainment industry was this gray industry, and models and actors didn't have to wear masks. So I was like, oh my God, I have a background in advertising. What defines a model? So I used social media, and I DM'd all the socialites of Toronto. I didn't know anyone in Toronto at the time, and just kept sending messages of what I'm doing. And I said, I can't charge you. However, if you want to come in and have a facial and post about it, you're deemed a model, and we can do this. So that really worked.
Wow.
And people were coming in, and then they started to bring their friends in. We were like a bootleg beauty
I
shop.
love that.
So then we would do champagne and caviar, whatever the case was.
Champagne will get anybody in the door.
Okay, let's side note into that just for a second.
So the way that I found her, so, my office, my main corporate office, my headquarters is in West Hollywood. We have the whole 6th floor. And right down the way in Sunset Plaza, I was with my friend Amanda. We're like, we're going to work out. We're going to do this. But I'm like, you know what? I really just feel like having a drink. She was going through things. We're always going through things, women. So I was like, okay, there's this little foot massage place right here. Let's just go see if it's open. And I don't know, you came up to our car and I was like, you were having a grand opening?
A little event.
A little event.
We just had a DJ and it was fun. We had
champagne. But she didn't tell me that. She comes up to my friend's car, which actually I was driving because I'm looking for a new car.
Which I would never normally do, which is so weird.
So weird, right? And I'm like, oh, we're going to be right back. We're going to go grab something and what we were going to go grab is a drink. So we just ended up coming right back to my office, to my bar, getting a drink and then going back. And then when we get in there, I'm like, wait a second, you had champagne the whole time.
She's like, you should have led with that. We would have come right in.
We would have just walked right in. But long story short, I have never done a cold plunge. I did a cold plunge. We did a mini little face thing. And then we did EMS, which is crazy. If you know me, I've been working out my whole life since I can remember. The only way I can get out of my house when I was a teenager is literally going to go for a run at the school behind my apartments where I grew up. So I would throw on a hoodie and just go run. So that's all I knew until I met my now husband. Like, I didn't know how to lift weights. I would do like little workouts with like a broom and a chair from the magazines, and things like that. But I didn't really know bodybuilding. So this suit, I was like shocked. I was honestly sore for like, I'm not lying, maybe 3 or 4 days. I don't know if he put it too tight.
No, that you're using muscles that you're not used to using.
So it's like a suit. Can you explain what
sure.
that is?
So EMS is electrical muscle stimulant, and it attaches to all your major muscle groups, and then everything fires, contracts like a Dr. Hose or a TENS machine all at the same time, which puts you into fast twitch muscle. 20 minutes is equivalent to 2 hours in the gym.
You know what? I love that. I
Yeah.
love that.
I can't wait for you to come
because
back.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
actually just hired a trainer. I'm big into fitness, and it's funny that you say it was 3 years that you were like just like
Yeah.
maybe depressed.
I was on antidepressants. Like,
Oh, see,
it was real.
See, me, I was just like, what's happening? Like, I still have to show up every day. So my grandma passed away a little over 2 years now, and worst time of my life. My daughter was like 7 months, obviously postpartum. But my aunt said something interesting. When you're like really, really busy, you don't really have time to have postpartum, if you will. I know it sounds harsh, but people in Mexico, they don't have help. They don't have they don't have anything.
Yeah.
They just figure it out.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just kept working and doing my thing but I just felt so sad.
Yeah.
And I'm not a sad person.
Same.
I love people. I love helping people. I
Yeah.
love giving. Even when I get nothing in return, I'm still giving. But I had such a hard time getting out of bed. I would stay up at night and cry. Like, I'm not a crier.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a crier.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember ever crying as much in the last 2 years. I swear I've cried a whole river in my life. Just because like I just miss her. I still miss her so much. I'm now like, okay, she's gone. It took me 2 years, a little over 2 years. Like where I'm like, okay, she's gone. We'll be together in another life, whatever. She's still technically with me, I guess. But I just wasn't ready for that, you know?
What was the piece you loved about her the most?
I just love her advice, how tough she was, how strong she was, how loyal. You know, from her I learned loyalty, like hard work. That's like so lacking now. The world is so messed up now.
It's so lacking, but I want to point something out to you, and it's actually making me emotional. I don't even know why, but you miss her, but everything that you just described her, she's living through you now because that is you. Everything you described, the loyalty, the giving, the love, you're her legacy is living through you, and you're doing the same. And that's how I would describe you, how you just described your grandma. So she's with you. Like,
I know.
You were living her.
But I'm selfish. I want her like physically. I want to like hug her, and I want to cuddle in bed with her. You know, and she's actually well, nobody knows this, but she's like my mom. Nobody knows. Just I've had my second therapy session or whatever you want to call it, counseling. I don't know what you want to call it. And I've always been kind of opposed to that because I'm like strong, I'm tough. But I'm like, you know what? My cousin's like, Syl, just try it. What's the worst that can happen? That you don't like it? You know, there's so much stigma around all that. And I'm like, no, I'm tough. I'll figure it out. Like, I don't need that. You know, I have talks with my husband. There's just always, life is life. So it's like us as humans, it's like we have to figure out how to live, how to continue, even when we feel like there's no way, when there is no light. I'm talking to you, girl. 2 years of, I was going through the mud and nobody knew. I was still here. I would still smile. I was still showing up. But I felt so horrible. And I'm like, if I didn't have kids, I swear to you that I wanted to die. Like, I just wanted to die.
I can completely relate.
And I'm not like that.
No.
Like, I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy with nothing. I'm happy with everything. Like, I'm just naturally, like, super positive. And I lost all of that. I stopped listening to music in the car. I stopped taking photos.
That's depression.
And crazy that I didn't even know. Like, and I was still just functioning, forcing myself, functioning. And, like, when you say that, like, you know what it feels like, and I think so many people go through it. They just don't know what to do. They don't know how to get out of it.
Exactly. Something you just said, what's the worst that can happen? I learned a really great lesson from somebody. This is a crazy story, but rather than saying what's the worst that can happen, reframe it to what's the best that can happen. Because let me tell you a story. So going back to when I was in the studio bringing all those people in, what happened, we were open and closed to that time. Come September, Toronto has their International Film Festival.
Okay.
I got a phone call from the global marketing director of the Shangri-La Hotel who said, I'm on my way. I come to Toronto every other month. I love health and wellness and skincare. I've never heard of you guys, but you're all over my For You page right now because I had all those people posting.
The celebrities. That was genius.
The social
models.
Who are my models. So she comes in, loves the treatment, and then she's like, do you want to put gifting boxes into the celebrities' rooms? I'm like, of course we do. My team stayed up all night. We put these boxes into the celebrities' rooms. Lo and behold, the celebrities come in, and they loved it, and they said, there's nothing like this in LA. Please take our phone number. If you ever come, call us. A girlfriend of mine was going to LA, and she's like, you have this insane Rolodex. Come to LA, do a pop-up in the hotel room. If they come, great. If they don't, we'll have an amazing trip.
Yeah.
I'm like,
let's
do it. Guess what? They all came. And only did they come, they invited me to their homes, invited all of their friends, and that's how I got into the celebrity world. We treat a lot of huge celebrities here, but imagine 7 years ago, I was a stay-at-home mom on antidepressants, but I made that one change and just took that first step and didn't overthink it. I went into action. And once you take that first step, it just goes. And you have no idea. It could be big, it could be small, but if you overthink it, if I knew how hard it was to open in the States, I would never have done it. But because I didn't overthink it and I didn't know, I started. And then once you start, it just keeps going.
Yeah.
So back to that, what's the best that can happen? I had met through one of my clients, Wes Diplo, a DJ. He also crazy that he's not even now a friend. His best friend, Genevieve, owns a company called Secular Sabbath, and she brought me on to do an event at Coachella. I was super excited. She did a hotel takeover and had events all day. And I got to the airport with my stuff. I brought the EMS workouts, got to the airport, and went to check in. I had booked a month later. So my flight was... I was now arrived.
have a flight.
I didn't have a flight. And it was a night flight, so the next flight wasn't until the morning, so I was going to miss that whole day. I was so mad at myself, like, ego, just, you don't want to disappoint people. Got on the next flight, explained to her, she was super cool about it. I arrived in LA, then it was like it took me almost 6 hours to get to the desert because of the Coachella traffic. Finally got there, and when I arrived at the hotel, they were sitting at this beautiful harvest table for the event. There was not a single spot at the table. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I should go. Like, I was so
doubting yourself.
I was doubting myself.
Yeah.
That fear, that rejection, that like, I'm like, I should just go to my room. I'll go in the morning because obviously I'm not doing any treatments or I'm not doing any workouts. But I was like, no, when you're uncomfortable, that's probably when you should go do something. I'm like, I've got to tell her I've arrived. I walk in and everyone's so beautiful. And she's at the far end of the table and she sees me and she is delighted and she's like, yeah, she was so nice. Like, hi, like, pull up a chair. And there was really no space to pull up a chair. I'm like, it's okay. Like, it's late. I'm time changed. I'll go back to her. She's like, no, absolutely. She looks around. She's like, you know what? The four of us will go sit at this table over here. It's not like we can talk to anybody. So I'm like, oh my God. Like, she's now moving tables for me and just so warm and welcoming.
That.
About 20 minutes into the conversation, I realized that the other girl at the table is Scout Willis, like Demi Moore's daughter.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like, this is wild. Next morning, so we have a great dinner. Next morning, I'm giving her a treatment, and she's the one. It just opened up to her. She's such a lovely person, and she's like, you can't look at the worst case scenario. You got to look at what's the best. What's the best that can happen?
Right.
So I'm like, you're absolutely right. So now I'm back in Toronto, and it's the film festival again, and I see Demi Moore's in town. What's the best that can happen? I send a text message to Scout, and I'm like, hey, I see your mom's in town. Do you think she'd like a lymphatic facial? She's like, oh my God, girl, I'm on tour in Scotland, but yeah, like, can I just put you guys in text together? I'm like,
yeah. Please
so,
do.
Next thing I know, like, Mama Demi, like, meet Amanda, best facial in town. And Demi's like, oh my God, amazing. Next morning, I'm at her hotel giving her a facial.
Wow.
If I had just gone to bed, let my ego and fear get in the way of that. So that now I live by that. What's the best that can happen? Because you really have no idea.
It's so
Isn't that
crazy. You just have to expose yourself, and I always say if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Yeah. So you have to be uncomfortable and think about all the times that you were super uncomfortable of doing something, approaching someone. And you know what? A lot of people are actually really nice.
Like rolling up on two hot women in a G-Wagon.
Yeah.
Here I am on your podcast.
Yeah, and we already have a no, so why not go for the yes?
Right.
You know, and that's why I guess, changing that is good. But what's the worst that can happen? Like, it's already what it is, and it can't. You could either get a yes or you're going to be in the same place.
Let's think about
and
the
that's
best.
it. Yeah. But back to the cold plunge. I told you I did not. I thought it was going to be way worse. I did good.
You did so good. You
the shower on your face is cold water is horrible. That felt worse.
Way worse. Way harder.
Yeah. But, I love health and fitness, wellness. I love protein shakes. I recently hired a trainer just because, again, I've always been really into health and fitness, not knowing. Looking good is obviously the main reason why we all.
Yeah.
Sorry, my accountant just walked in. Is everything okay? Yeah. Oh, you need a code? You know how to get it? Okay. Yeah.
It's real life.
Yeah, real life entrepreneurship.
Rolling with it.
Yeah, and you know what? Currently, we're in I just switched subjects. Because she walked in, we're training her new junior accountant. But it's like so many things have been happening. And sometimes when you're not feeling good, you tend to ignore, like, just be grateful. Because even being alive is a blessing. How many people right now are taking their last breath? Yeah. And we take it for granted. But, I really believe it's just the conditioning, the way the world is. The U.S., would you agree, is way different than anywhere else?
Yes.
It's just like our food is horrible. The ingredients are horrible. We're fed so much crap. And what I mean by that is information that's incorrect. It's not right. People don't know what to do. They don't know how to age gracefully. And for me, this is another thing my grandma told me. She's like, getting old is a privilege.
Really is.
And so many people, they're like freaking out about getting, like, yes, you're going to get old too. Yeah. You think you're not going to get old? The only way to stop aging is to die. So when people are like, oh, I don't want my kids to get stop growing. I'm like, don't say that. Let them grow. Let them flourish, But for me, I love to teach other people, to be healthy. Because a lot of people are like, oh, it's genetics. And I'm like, no, it's the shit that you eat. It's very simple. Just because it runs in your family doesn't mean you have to have it. The thing is, we inherit the food, this, that, all the habits, the traditions. So you turn out to be exactly like that.
Yeah.
So you literally have to make a decision to completely switch that. You know, and my trainer, oh, I love her. Like, we're going to do crazy things together because I love her energy. I love her attitude. I love good people that truly want to help because everybody wants the money.
Yeah.
But if you focus on helping the masses,
Yeah.
the world, and actually making a positive impact, you're always, money's going to follow.
Exactly.
It's how the world works.
Yeah.
You know, but her, she's from
Genuine.
like Middle East. I don't know, but her body, I'm like, girl, just tell me what to do and I'll do whatever you tell me. Just tell me what to do. But sure, food. How bad is it here?
Well, this is so alarming. I recently read a study that a huge, I can't remember the exact number, but refugees that come to North America, especially America, their rates of autoimmune, very quickly developing an autoimmune, is so high because in their countries they're not eating all the processed food. They're not eating, like, you know, they're growing their own vegetables. The animals come from the farms, and they're the chemicals
Organic,
and the processing's not there. So when they come here and they start eating all the shit that we have here, they're developing these autoimmunes. That's really alarming.
It's so scary.
So scary.
Well,
Our bodies
sick-
are used to them, but we're sick here. Like, people are so sick.
People are sick and you're a customer forever.
Yes.
And Big, you know, P loves that.
Yep.
It's wonderful. You're a
Yep.
client for life, you know, and there's
Exactly.
so many natural remedies,
Yeah.
so many things that we can do, like moving our bodies, even doing just walking.
Walking is one of the best things you absolutely can do. Are you familiar with the Blue Zones?
No.
So Blue Zones are the healthiest and happiest people in the world. So there's even actually one in the US. They're in Japan, they're in Europe. But the common thread among the Blue Zones is they drink alcohol, they eat carbs, they eat non-processed stuff, mostly organic, but they're in more mountainous regions. They walk everywhere. And the other big thing is community purpose. They all get together. And it's that it takes a village mentality. They ask for help. They help each other. The neighbor helps, like the elders, the youngers help the elders. It doesn't matter if it's your elders or anybody's, but that is such a key to longevity and stress-free. Like they're not isolated. So it's fascinating. So a lot of my businesses, that's why we have redeemed the clubhouse, because we want people to come and have a place to learn and to learn all these things. People don't know. When you talk about North America is a great place if you need to have triple bypass heart surgery once you're sick. But in terms of preventing sickness, this is a horrible place. There's so many things you can do that people aren't aware of. And I work with so many people who could have anything that they wanted. And I'm explaining to them different testing, like your gut health test.
Yeah.
Huge. If we were all testing that, and then staying ahead of it and taking the right minerals or supplements to balance it and restore it, we can prevent autoimmunes, cancers, but nobody knows. No one's educated. Then he goes into a whole side, the conspiracy theory of big pharma. But if we could just we can stay healthy if we just knew, if we knew the right blood tests to take and having our hormones checked and our gut checked.
Well, I actually, when I started to feel a little bit better, but I couldn't drop the weight. You know, Next Health right there by Equinox? So I went in there. I'm like, look, I don't like to draw my blood, but I've done it a lot of times with all my pregnancies. So let's just go. Let's do it. They gave me vitamins. It wasn't as detailed as I would have liked, but then what can I expect for $300, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, so is my cortisol high? Because I'm a very high performer. Like for me, I wake up and I'm like, till I get back home to have dinner with my kids, or I'll go with my husband to have dinner, or whatever. We have a company event, and then we knock out and we're just like exhausted. Like we did everything humanly possible in that day to move the businesses forward, right? So I was like, why can't I lose the weight? Like, I know I'm not working out 7 times a week, but 5 to 6. I didn't know. Like, I just felt so bad. And I heard cortisol, it just doesn't let you get rid of the fat. So long story short, I took the vitamins. It kind of worked, but I think I also made a decision to just say, okay, it's all going to go away. Like, it was more mental, which was kind of scary. I'm like, I'm going to get fit. Everything's going to be great. And then that's why I hired the trainer. But my point is, Next Health, they gave me all this testing, but it didn't give me cortisol levels. So now, fast forward like 2 months from when I did that, maybe 3 even. My husband, we have a really successful friend. He's a billionaire. He's just so smart and so simple and so amazing. Like the nicest person you'll ever meet.
I love that.
I love that too. And he's like, this is what rich people do. He's like, this is what I do. He takes like super successful people.
Yeah.
Not everybody has the resources, but
Yes.
again, when you have smart friends, you start making better choices in
Yeah.
life. You have better information to apply or listen to, right? Because really,
Yeah, people, that's the scary part. Why don't people know these things?
they don't. And I think a lot just don't care, or they're just comfortable, or they're scared to fail or whatnot. So he's like, I got a blood test, and it's literally scientists that come in and they look at your blood. They can prevent, they can fix whatever your issues are. And then every quarter, it's like they check everything, make sure you're still good. They add, subtract every quarter. And it's only expensive in the beginning. And what I mean by it's not even expensive. It's about like, I think 6,000 to 8,000 a person to start for all the testing, have the person come out, whatever. And then they check, they fine tune every, and then it's like $2,000 a year, something like that, to maintain.
It's amazing.
But think about how much money we spend on bullshit.
Exactly.
On
And
the
to be able to stay ahead of it.
Target.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. And if people had access to that, how much money they would save in the long run from surgeries or the medicines or
Yeah.
It's preventative medicine. We can literally stay ahead of everything if we have the right tools,
Right.
if we do the right testing. This is actually where AI is going to play such a key role too, because for example, I had really bad heartburn my whole life. My dad, my grandma, or my grandfather, my uncle, and I did all the testing from the regular GP testing. I had colonoscopies, endoscopies, everything came back fine. Celiac testing, food sensitivity testing, they're like, nope, like there's nothing that point, like just take Tums, it's something you have to live with.
Right.
When I did that exactly similar testing that you're talking about, right away, my girl was like, you can't eat gluten. I'm like, impossible. I've had the gluten testing. It's when you connect the dots, like you were saying, when people can read it. The human mind can't possibly learn everything, but AI is going to come in and be able to connect more dots than you can even imagine in preventing things. So she's like, no, because of this marker, just stop eating gluten and see if it goes away.
And you stopped.
I stopped. Guess what? No heartburn.
You're
Is that not insane? That
It
I
is.
literally had 2 colonoscopies, 2 endoscopies, and nothing wrong, and it's just gluten.
Wow.
Like debilitating heartburn. Like you wake up in the night, like burning through my ears. Like it was,
Really?
and they just told me to live with it.
That's insane.
Another crazy
That
story?
happens a lot here.
Totally. My daughter she had an early period and really bad menstrual cramps. They just chalked it. I took her to a pediatric gynecologist at one of the great hospitals, and they're like, everything's fine. Maybe a little PCOS, maybe endometriosis. Just take Advil. I'm like, no, this is a major problem.
Advil's a Band-Aid.
Yeah, and go on birth control. She was 14 years old. Like, but that is from the doctors. So push further. Luckily, I work in this industry, so I knew what testing to have. Can you believe she has early onset of an autoimmune, early onset? We're in the thick of it right now, but it's pointing towards lupus. But when caught in this early stage, it can't necessarily correct itself, but she will probably never have any symptoms of it. Had we have waited,
Wow.
and then she had full onset, then it's a complete other monster to deal with. But I had to push for everything.
And that's what drives me crazy. You know, my kids, our doctors, they're all, what is it called?
Homeopathic.
And that. I can't say that. I have tried hundreds of times to say that word and I can never say it. So Dr. Ed is our doctor.
Okay.
And before that, I had another one in Santa Monica. Because my 3 kids, like, you know, this is like a sticky subject, but they're not vaccinated, none of them.
Okay.
So I researched a lot.
Yeah.
I have a lot of clients. I heard a lot of stories.
Yeah.
And I learned from other people's
Yeah.
experiences. You know, I'm a really great listener.
Yeah.
And I store everything until I need it in my future to make decisions. A week from now,
Yeah.
2 years, 20 years from, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people that are vaccine injured, a lot.
Yeah.
Some that have passed, you know, they have Down syndrome now, et cetera,
Yeah.
so on and so forth. We're all different.
Yeah.
So for me, I went on this like crazy, you know, like a jealous detective girlfriend. You know what I'm talking about? We could break into the phones. We can find
Like single white
everything.
female?
Yes.
I know the type.
So I did all the things and I researched and I saw the laws that went through for pharma, et cetera, so on and so forth. And I'm like, okay, how come I have this many, like 5? And why now to be fully vaxxed, you need 79, something like that, something crazy. And this was when Italia was born. She's 8 now. So I don't know what everything looks like now, but I made a decision. My kids are healthy. They don't get sick. They're smart. they can hold a conversation. They're literally like little grown-ups, you know. They're homeschooled. Like, I don't play. Like, I always said, my kids, I don't wish any kid to grow up how I grew up, ever. Like, I just don't, you know. And some people are more resilient than others. I'm good, but somebody else would not be good, you know. And I always said, I'm going to make sure I find a great dad for my kids. I'm going to make sure I protect them. And if anybody touches them or hurts them in any way, shape, or form, like, I will be in jail and you will die. You know, but you get my point. So I just felt such a huge responsibility, because if something happens to your kids, who has to take care of them for the rest of their life? You do.
Exactly.
The government, no one's going to come and say, oh, I'm so sorry, here's another more money, here's the, this person's going to come and help you take care of them. No. They're yours to keep forever. I want to say till 18 or 21, but that's not true.
I have a 27-year-old. You're completely
forever.
right.
It's forever, you know. And I hear it gets harder. My kids, again, they're smart, they're healthy, and I felt really obligated to make an educated decision, not just based on what the doctors were telling me, because they pressure you. I was like shocked.
And they also don't know.
They don't know.
They really, like, they just know what they're taught, and it's constantly evolving. Like, can you imagine the lymphatic system detoxifies your whole body? I recently wrote the post-op protocols for one of the biggest plastic surgeons in Beverly Hills. And when I went in to talk to them about it, they had no clue about the lymphatic system. This is the most important system in your body, and they had no idea. And I'm like, this is so frightening.
And so you're telling me that they perform some sort of procedure and they don't know the post-op?
Well, they have their own post-op, but they don't understand the lymphatic system and how much better you can make recovery and heal. You, especially with the anesthetic and going under, preventing scar tissue, in speeding the process. It's just so crazy.
So the lymphatic. So I don't know if you know this girl. Her name is Detox by Rebecca. You know who she is? So long time ago, you know, I don't even know how I found her. I don't know why I was there. I have no idea. So I ended up there, and she's so nice, and same vaccines. She's from Brazil or something. And she's so nice, and I would go there and we would talk, and like, I felt so good after, but I still don't really fully understand this. So
the lymphatic
I don't think a lot of people do.
No, they don't. And it's crazy. So the lymphatic system, is what detoxify the body. And I keep saying that. So what I mean by that is we have lymphatic fluid that runs through our whole body. Our body's a pressurized cavity, and the lymphatic fluid stays in between our muscle and our fascia. It's inflammation, really. So that inflammation, when it sits in your skin, it's toxic. Like, it makes you sick over time. It's waste.
Toxins?
It's metabolic waste.
Okay.
So it's just all your body needs to flush and be clean. So it's essentially, it cleans your body. And when you have the lymphatic system, the one flaw, or not one flaw, but a flaw of the human body is that the lymphatic system doesn't have its own pump. So that's why exercise is so good. You'll see people shaking the little trampolines that people jump on. That is what opens your lymphatic system and keeps everything moving. So for people, especially in North America, where you sit for so long, that fluid just builds up in our body. So through the lymphatic massage, it drains. So it leaves your body, and then it goes up. It all drains through the thoracic duct here, and then into your bloodstream, into your kidneys, and then it gets rid of it. Are you familiar with Dr. Amen? So he's a psychiatrist, in LA. We just launched Glymphatics, which is brain lymphatic drainage. And your brain only drains at night, but he's done over 250,000 brain scans. And what he's found, that people with neurological disease, Alzheimer's, dementia, is plaque buildup on the brain. That plaque buildup is a direct byproduct of metabolic waste, and metabolic waste is that lymph fluid that's not draining. So our bodies drain all day, but the brain, for whatever reason, only drains when you're sleeping. So we have a treatment. So if you're a poor sleeper, your circadian rhythm's off in any way, you limit how much can drain. Or if you have a lot of tension in your muscles, it compresses the lymph nodes, and then you're limited to how much can drain as well. But that being said, knowing this, and we make sure we massage and everything's open and everything's draining properly, we can prevent a lot of neurological disease.
That's
like Alzheimer's,
incredible.
Dementia. Wild, right?
It's so crazy.
And everything it's just bringing your body back to homeostasis, to a natural state, having the muscles where they need to be. We focus a lot on the masseter muscle because it's the second strongest in your whole body. When this is tight, it causes the shoulders to be, or the traps to be tight, the lats, causes the hip alignment to be off, posture to be off. And as you're aging, if your hip alignment's off, then your muscles are developing in an uneven way, and then knee pain, ankle pain, and most seniors, the number one cause is falls, right?
Yeah.
But so, and your balance. But if we can keep our bodies healthy by working out, but then stretching the muscles and really releasing the tension, then we will age really gracefully, and everything will be strong. We'll have flexibility, we'll have balance, and eliminate the falls.
Oh my
Like kids don't have
goodness.
these problems because all their muscles are where they need to be.
Yeah.
It's only as we become more stagnant in life, that we sit more, that we develop these.
Yeah. Or now everybody's like this.
Yes.
And it's
This
so many
neck
things are, so many new, like, I don't want to say conditions are arising from this,
Yeah.
because think about it.
The thumbs.
Everyone is just on social media all day.
Yeah.
I'm like, is that your job?
Right?
It's
Exactly.
crazy. It's just, the world is so different now, honestly. You know, I was thinking about that the other day. I was talking to, I don't remember, my cousin probably. And I was like, we were like the last people that like played hide and seek. Like we didn't have, we weren't attached to our phones. We actually had a good time being out, because everywhere you look now, even at the gym,
Yeah.
it's like everyone I look, it's like phone. Like, are you even working out? Like, I'm waiting for that machine, sir. You know, so for me, it makes me so sad.
It's so sad.
It's so sad.
It's like I got my phone at 19, my first cell phone, which is wild. But even you notice, and I'm trying to be mindful of it, and I'm entirely guilty of it too, but you're out for dinner with friends and everyone's on their phone. But allowing people to have so much access to you too it's stressful.
Yeah.
You know, you don't reply to somebody right away, and then you're rude or you're uninterested.
Someone gets mad.
Right. But imagine going where you have no distractions, like how liberating that feels.
100%. I don't think that happens enough now.
No, and how much we miss by taking calls or being on text or checking in or.
Well, I think this is why it's really important to identify whatever it is that you're doing in life, right? Because we only have so much time in the day, right? Part of it we're sleeping, part of it we're working, part of it with our kids, our spouse, whatever. And you can't really say yes to everyone or everything. So it's like, what am I going to say yes to and what am I going to say no to? And I feel a lot of people have such a hard time saying no. So they say yes, but then they still don't show up, which really bugs me. I'm like, just say no, I can't. Or like, let's reschedule for tomorrow. But again, it's just a totally different world where, again, I don't know what's happening. Like, people don't have drive anymore. Like, they don't want to do anything. Or maybe they're just so scared to fail. They don't know how. They don't have a good circle of friends around them, or at least one great influence that's going to get them above that hunch or give them that one
Challenge
idea. Yes.
Call you out. Like, my sister called me out, and I was like, shit.
You're right.
Yeah. And that was such a pivotal point for me. I'm not, like we talked about, I'm a happy person. And now I'm being perceived as a complainer. Like, that hit so deep.
Right.
I
think that happened to me too with my husband. But I was just so stressed out, and it was employees and salespeople, and it's just like problem after problem. And obviously there were still good things, but it just felt like never ending. And I was like, what the fuck, you know? And it was during a time where I'm like, it's not even like we're cutting payroll, our overhead is huge. It's not even like I could be like, okay, let's bring this person in to help me. It was like, I need to handle all of it with the team that I currently have so that we can get past this, get out of the red and be in the green, you know? And that's entrepreneurship.
That is.
Like we were just saying, the highs are high and the lows are low. You know, there are times, how many
not
times
for the faint of heart.
Cutting, no, it's not. Cutting payroll. How many times are you like, oh shit.
Yeah, it's crazy. And like you said, no one can really understand it. And I got a really great piece of advice, because everybody also wants to give you advice, but now only take it from people who have been in the ring and have been kicked around in the ring and have had the lows and know all the things, because everyone thinks they know, but people don't.
So so the best piece of advice I've ever received was watch the source of your advice, which is crazy. And then I thought about it, and I started thinking about scenarios and situations and past experiences I had. And I'm like, that is so true. Like, this person told me this. It's similar to, like, I have a lot of clients that are like, oh no, my uncle told me not to buy an investment property because I'm going to have to be fixing toilets at midnight. And I'm like, how many apartment buildings does your uncle own? None. They're still renting. I'm like, okay, so why would we take advice from that person?
Exactly.
Think about it.
It's exactly true. That's exactly what the person told me. I only will. They've had to have been through it, and they need to be where I want to be.
Yes. Yes. That part.
Yeah, it's true.
If you would take their place, then you take their advice.
Exactly.
Because a lot of times, again, it's people that are just scared themselves. They don't want to let you go. Your friends sometimes don't want to let you grow. Or you think they're your friends, but they're really not your friends. They're only your friends when everything's great. But when things are not so great, that's when you realize who truly has your back and who doesn't.
Entirely. And you said it just a bit ago. It's surrounding yourself with the people who cheerlead you on, not yes men by any chance,
No.
by any means, but people who challenge you, who cheerlead you, who want to see you grow.
Well, who want to see you grow, they're going to be there to support you. And if they need to tell you something difficult,
Yeah, they will.
they're going to tell you, because everyone's like, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no. Like, I can take it. Like, let's go. Give me the constructive criticism.
Exactly.
And I do the same for the people that I love. Like, if I don't agree with something,
Yeah.
I'll let them know. There are a lot of hard conversations that I've had that I don't know how I've had them. And I would rather be hated for saying the truth than loved because I'm lying to your face.
Yeah.
Like, that's not helpful to anybody.
It's really
You
not.
know?
No.
So let's talk about the location you opened here. Which was harder, the one in Toronto or LA? Like, what was
LA. Okay, so when we talk about entrepreneurship and how scrappy and gritty it is at the beginning, like we did it on a shoestring budget, and so Toronto was, I contemplated opening this business in my basement because I was like, oh, maybe they're right about COVID, but I didn't because I had that cheerleader. Opened 650 square feet. We outgrew it. We have a 3,000 square foot flagship in Toronto now. Toronto is easier for sure. So, but when I said that we came to LA and did a pop-up, so that first weekend pop-up, then a couple months later, we did another weekend pop-up, and then we did a week pop-up, and then we did a year. We did a month, and then we rented a house for a year twice. However, because we really wanted to make sure we could crack this LA market. Like, I'm Canadian, and it's so finicky here.
Yeah. Everything's a fad here.
Everything's a fad, and like, are we going to be forgotten about? But it kept getting better. But I was definitely operating under the radar, and I was dodging the city of West Hollywood. So, because it takes a lot to open an American company. It got to the point with the girl, my officer, who I'm like, we're opening a real place, I swear. Like, it was, but it's one of those things you had to do. We had to be scrappy and had to do it. So LA was definitely harder. Most regulated state in America that we've chosen to open in. But the people have been amazing. And I think if you ask for help, people want to help you.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people their ego's too big to ask for help. I always ask for help. Even if I have 5 minutes, I have to drop into the grocery store to grab something really quick that I forgot on my order online. I'll like, where can I find this? And doop, 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 done.
I leaned into it once, I knew what I didn't know. Or I knew, I can't say that right, but there was a lot of things I didn't know. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to learn them. And exactly that, was going to ask everybody and anybody for help. And I've come to learn that there's no greater gift than when you do ask somebody for help or advice that you look up to, because that means they've done it and they want to, that contribution piece, they want to give back. And it makes them feel good.
Right. Now, hiring. I would say the main reason, at least here in the United States, or really nationwide, I would say most businesses, they stay very small because they're scared to hire, right? So hiring and firing is the most important part of the business. The people in the organization are the most important part. Obviously, your service and, of course, product, customer service, yes. But what would you say is the most challenging about finding or hiring people? Because I know the beauty industry is like crazy, right?
It's tough.
Yeah.
The hardest part for us, because we're in this longevity space and beauty space, so it's finding people who are really passionate about wellness, not just an esthetician who just loves to do the facials, but someone who believes in what we're doing, and then because our whole business is based on education and teaching people about longevity and about the lymphatic system, and that's what keeps them coming back. So finding passionate people, and when this is such a new industry, like the lymphatic system's only been really studied for like 6 years, or it's become like more popular.
That's insane.
So it's finding people who believe in what you're doing and can share the story as well,
and be part of the mission.
They are there, they just don't even know that that's what they want to love yet, because it's just not common knowledge. But funny about hiring and firing that you just said, I recently treated Doc Rivers, like the famous coach, and he's known for his leadership. So I said to him, like, give me your best leadership advice. And he said, fire fast.
Hire slow and fire fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best.
Yeah. Well, they say the first time you think about firing someone, just get rid of them because they're not going to change. And also hiring too fast because, oh my God, we have to fill this position.
Yeah.
You can find yourself in 3 months replacing that person because it wasn't the right choice, right? And what I've learned to do is manage with the team that I currently have to still keep everything going, but taking my time to find the right person to fill the position.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a great book. It's called Unreasonable Hospitality.
I have it. I
Great
love
book.
it.
Isn't it a great
love
book?
it.
It's such
it was
a good
gifted
book.
to me by
His story is amazing.
amazing.
You know, and entrepreneurship, having a business, any type of business. I mean, restaurant is hard because the margins are so small, right? But look at Javier's. He just opened in downtown. We go to Javier's. I'm already over that place. We go there like literally like 3 times a week. It's crazy. Yeah. But it's convenient. The vibe is amazing. The people are amazing. They make us feel good. They pick up your dish as soon as you're done eating. If I ever owned a restaurant, that would be my thing. I really don't like when my empty plate is sitting there. My napkin's already on it. Like, pick it up.
Yeah.
You know, and he has a rule. You got to you can't leave with your hands empty.
Oh,
Isn't that crazy?
It's the special touches.
It's the little things that make the biggest impact, and people will keep coming
come
back. I don't think the
And
food
they'll
is
talk about it.
Yeah, I don't think the food is super amazing because I'm Mexican, so I know what authentic, real Mexican food tastes like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's good food, but it's not amazing.
Right.
So you know.
But you
that
feel
book,
good. It's the experience.
Real. You know, in this call, it just came out of nowhere.
I know.
And I think as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you have to understand what are the priorities for the day, the fires that need to be put out, you know, who's handling what and what's happening. You know, I have managers in different departments, but I'm still very much involved and I really like it. But I just had this conversation with my husband where I'm like, okay, I don't have to be here. I've had a lot more freedom lately. You know, we just had lunch at Pasta Nova like
So
2 days
nice.
ago. And it was so nice in the middle of the day. You know, I'm still getting to all my calls, but I have a full team that does everything for me.
amazing.
In my house, here, everywhere. Like, I really don't have to do much. So this call just came because I'm looking for an attorney, a new attorney for something that I'm working on. And Albert was with Neil Patel yesterday, and he's like, connection. He's like, and I'm like, oh, right before coming to you, he's like, babe, don't miss the call at 3. I'm like, what call at 3? I was getting my ass beat at the gym. Like, I still can't breathe.
Yeah.
You know? And sometimes you have to do that. But he's like, don't miss the call, don't miss the call. I'm like, I won't miss the call. But I'm like, Maria, push it. Because these podcasts, you know, I love everyone. I'm not just like a women empowerment. I love strong, powerful women that could do things alone. But I also am very much about, you know, like my husband and I, we've been married forever. We've been together 17 years, married since 2013. And like, we have a beautiful family, a beautiful business. And sometimes when I start getting a little like antsy or like frustrated or not grateful, he's like, Syl, like, I just want you to be happy. He's like, we have a beautiful life. And I'm like, you're right. And sometimes you need those reminders. And that's why the significant other is so important, because him and I have just grown together to get to here, which now it's just like crazy. It's like, it's just, everything is just like, it's just working. You know, we're hiring a lot of positions right now, but again, hiring slow, not fast.
And I think in business, one of the most important things is that ability to pivot and just roll with the changes and not get caught up, because you can't change it. So when you can just go, like COVID for me, I could have laid on the couch and been like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to try to get out of the lease and try to whatever, but there was a reason for this, and it all.
And there's a reason why we met.
1,000%. Because I promise I don't normally just roll up on people's cars like that.
It was amazing. It was like the best day ever. I'm like, I told my husband I did this. He's like, what?
Wait, what?
And he was like, how? And it just,
you ended up in a cold plunge.
Everything just kind of always aligns. I feel at the right timing, you'll meet the right people.
Exactly.
If you're a good person.
And open to it.
Yeah. Because a lot of people close themselves off.
Totally.
You know, and for the audience, like, if you're thinking about doing something, you're in a bad place, just because it's currently bad doesn't mean it has to continue to be bad. No. I think it's always a decision.
It's a decision. And make a change. I was unhappy. I got called to be a complainer that day. When I booked that course, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to book it now. Do it. Like, don't not do it. Don't overthink it. It all comes down to that.
It all
Like,
comes
just,
down to that.
Otherwise, it's awareness, analysis, action. Don't get stuck in that awareness, analysis.
Most people do.
Most people
Or they're
do.
learning, and they never take action. Never
Yeah.
take action.
I often like tell people, I'm like, I want my eulogy to be amazing.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Like, she did
I
all
wanna be
this.
remembered.
So tell us a little bit, just before we wrap up, where is your business located? What's the name, and what services do you have?
Sousla. In Toronto, we're in Yorkville, and in West Hollywood, we're in Sunset Plaza, 8608 Sunset Plaza in the Oppenheim Group. Around back, beside Hot Pilates, and there's lots of parking, which is a big
love that.
benefit. We have lymphatic facials, we have lymphatic body, we have Brazilian body, we have stretch therapy, we have the brain lymphatic drainage that we talked about. We have sauna, cold plunge, red light therapy, and the EMS workout, which is
Yeah.
amazing. You also put on the suit and you feel like a superhero, so it's really fun too.
I know it was, and you made me take off my heels.
I don't know how many people I told this to. She looks at me, she's like, babe, I can do anything in heels.
I did say
And
that.
I believe her.
I literally can do anything in heels. I carry my kid in heels. I don't like flats.
Yeah.
Like, they actually hurt my feet.
No, I agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
so-
Like, I mean, like, you're a
Yeah.
warrior. I'm a little bit of a kitten.
So, but thank you so much for all of you listening. Is this the best place you can be followed?
Yeah, that's my personal one, but we're Sousla_official.
Okay, I'll have the guys put it down here. And
Amazing.
we'll have to do a part 2 because we got
Yes.
cut like a little 9 minutes short. But thank you so much. If you need anything, send us a DM. If you're thinking about doing something with your life, you're not happy, what does Jim Rohn say? You're not a tree, move. Like,
Yeah.
change it.
Change it.
Change it.
Change
and
is
then you
good.
never know. Change
What's
is good.
the best that can happen?
Yes! Change is good all the time, and all
Yeah.
the time change is good.
And if it's uncomfortable, it means do it.
Do it.
Mm-hmm.